Welcome to my channel, Gadgets for Gentlemen. A couple of days ago I received this beautiful Seiko SKX007, which you can find here on the right on the rubber strap. I decided to buy a metal bracelet from Strapcode, which you can find here in the middle. This is the Angus Jubilee, which is a bit more beefed up, sturdier version of the original Seiko Jubilee bracelet. Here on the left we have the Seiko SKX013 that I have on the original metal bracelet, the Seiko Jubilee bracelet. And to compare the or to review the Angus Jubilee, I will use this smaller Seiko watch as a way to compare the Strapcode bracelet. So the 013 and its bracelet will function as a kind of like a benchmark. The comparison is not ideal because the 013 is a slightly smaller watch, therefore also the dimensions of the bracelet are somewhat different from the 007 and its bracelet. But I think this is just the best way currently, since I don't have the Jubilee bracelet from the 007. This video might be able to help you to decide whether you should pay the premium and go for a Strapcode aftermarket metal bracelet, or to go for the original Seiko Jubilee bracelet. This is called the Angus Jubilee, which is Strapcode's version of the Jubilee bracelet, but this is a heavier and bigger bracelet. There's also an alternative which looks closer or resembles more the original Jubilee bracelet, and I will put an image up here. For me personally, I took a bit of a chance to go for the Angus Jubilee. I heard great stories on YouTube, including Mark from Long Island Watches, who is also a, I think, authorized dealer for Strapcode. So I went with the bigger version, which was a bit of a daring decision because I have quite small wrists. So yeah, let's see if this was a hit or miss. As you see, the strap has all plastic around it. It's brand new. I have to size it, and that is what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna give you an overview of the bracelet, then I'm gonna size it and throw it on the watch, and we can compare the weight, the fit, and the most important assets. Alright guys, let's get started with this overview clip. Beneath we have the original Jubilee bracelet by Seiko, and on the top we have the Angus Jubilee. So let's proceed by the key differences. So first of all, what you can see is the links on the Angus Jubilee. They are a bit bigger compared to the original Seiko bracelet. Key difference number 2 has to do with that end link. End link, what I mean by that is this link that connects to the watch case. So this link looks quite different to the end link by Strapcode. Key difference number 1 is the fact that this end link is so-called hollow. So it's basically just a very thin piece of metal, and here it connects to underneath the case, but there's no true link. And if you look at this one, you can see that this piece is not hollow. The only hollow part is that push pin. Key difference number 2, I think, has to be this little little clasp. The one from the original metal bracelet is very flimsy. I think it's very it works and I like it, but it's not very tough. And if you look at the clasp from Strapcode, you can see that this particular part, this is much thicker and it looks a bit more sturdy. Then let's go down a little bit. Up next has to be this part. It has to be this part. So this is called stamped, and this part is machined. I really prefer the way that Strapcode devised this part compared to this part by Seiko. I think as you can see, this part looks very flimsy again, not very high quality. And if you look at this part, this looks very durable. Now, up next, we go to the, I think actually this is supposed to be called the clasp. As you can see, we have several micro adjustments, which I really like. It allows you to quickly change the fit of your watch with these micro adjustments, which are basically little holes in this clasp that you can use to change the fit. The clasp here on the Strapcode watch comes in a few variants. I went for this dive clasp, which has a push buttons here on the side. It's very secure. It has a whole lot of micro adjustments. It curves down, but it is quite thick. So this will add a bit of thickness on your wrist, but I think it looks very secure. So I prefer it over the Seiko clasp. Again, if I need to describe these two straps, basically in one sentence, it has to be the Seiko here below. I think it's wonderful, but it feels very cheap, very flexible. I like it a lot. It does rattle a lot. And the Strapcode here on the top, I think it's just pure business. It's way more premium. Really like it. I prefer it actually, and I haven't even thrown it on the wrist yet, but so far I'm really impressed by the build quality. Now then again we continue with all these links, and as I noted earlier, the links on the Strapcode, they are a bit bigger compared to the original bracelet by Seiko. Again, this is not a complete one-on-one comparison, because we're dealing here with a bracelet here below from the 013, which is 20 millimeters tapering down to 18 at the clasp. And I think with the Angus Jubilee we have a 22 millimeter tapering down to 20 or 18 at the clasp. I need to verify. So yeah, not a one-on-one comparison, but you get the picture regardless. So again, what you can see is this bracelet is very comfortable, but it's also very, I think very cheap-ish. And then again, we have that end link that you can see with these push pins here. That is just very flimsy. And if you look at the strap code, actually this on this bracelet it reads MiLTAT. I think it's the same brand. You can see that this end link is very secure. It's very sturdy. You can notice that on the links of the Strapcode bracelet we can find these Phillips screws. So it's quite easy and very sturdy to take out a few links. I think for my tiny wrist, 6.3 inches, I will need to remove a few links. And if you have a closer look at the 013, if I recall correctly, you can see these arrows pointing down. This bracelet does not feature screws, but it features pins. So all you have to do, if I recall correctly, is push down these pins. The pins will come undone, and then you can take out a link from the bracelet. With the Strapcode version, we have these I would call them micro screws, but they're not even micro. They're actually quite big because the links are quite big. So yeah, I really like bracelets with screws. I think it's a bit more robust than pins. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna throw these bracelets on the scale. So this is not very scientific, but at least I hope it's a bit helpful. Here we have the 013. I toss it on the scale, and again, not scientific, because the bracelet for the 013 has been sized to my wrist. So here we're dealing with about 48 grams, and the Strapcode bracelet, and here you can see how sturdy this device is. We press it down, we press this part down. It's just very secure. I think it looks very cool. So let's throw it on the scale. You can see, again, this is not scientific because we're dealing here with a slightly wider bracelet, and it has a few extra links, because if I were to size it down to my wrist, such as with the 013, then it would obviously lose some grams. But you can see that this bracelet is almost double as heavy compared to the 013. So do pay in mind that this bracelet is quite chunky and beefy. And also, just one push down fell down. You can see that the push pins that came with the bracelet are very sturdy again. So let me just size the bracelet and throw it on the 007. So here's a little status update. I threw the bracelet on my wrist, and as you can see on my 6.3 inches wrist, I do have quite a bit of space left. So what I have to do now is unscrew these screws and these links and remove a few links. I'm really impressed so far by the look of this bracelet. I think it looks absolutely stunning, and also wanted to give you a peek at the case and the way the end link fits to the case. Judge for yourself. I think it looks nice. As you can see, the brushing on the end link and the case is not identical. It looks a little bit different, and we have a little bit of space here between the case and the end link. And also you can see that the top of the end link is not as high as the case itself. That's a bit odd, but I don't mind. Also here we have that same quote-unquote issue. We can see that the end link does not really fit to the tip of the case. Also, so far what I notice is that the bracelet really tapers down here from the very first link. Here from the very first link we can see that these links, they can really taper down. So they don't go like straight like that, but they can curve down a little bit in order to hug your wrist. So really like it. So that was my little status update. Let's size the bracelet and come back to you. One more detail. Here you can see that the bracelet and the end link quite confidently fit with the case. You can see that's quite a nice fit. And also on this side, that really looks excellent. And yeah, really like it so far. Let's size it up and come back to you in a minute. So let me give you one close-up of these screws. Might be a little bit hard to do this through the viewfinder. So this is how we unscrew the screws on the links. As you can see, it's quite easy. So as you can see, these are quite big Phillips screws. So this is what it looks like. This is how the bracelet is built, and then it's held together by these very secure screws. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out, I think I'm gonna take out 2 links here, and I'm gonna take out 2 screws, I think on this side, and then I'm gonna throw it back on my wrist. Earlier I promised you to let you know how this watch strap or bracelet, how it tapers. So let me try to squeeze in my caliper here. Yeah, so at the very tip we're dealing here with about 22 millimeters, and the watch definitely tapers down a lot. We're dealing here with this dive buckle. We're dealing here with about 21-ish millimeters. But as you can see here, this part of the metal bracelet, I think it's only 18 millimeters. Yeah, here you can see we're dealing with about only 18 millimeters at the very bottom of this bracelet. So what I mean is when we look at the very top where the bracelet, where it connects to the case, we have a width of 22 millimeters. And when we go down, we can see that the bracelet, it tapers down. So it becomes narrower when we reach the dive buckle or clasp. And on this end, it is only 18 millimeters. And then from this end, the bracelet then extends again from 18, almost 18 here at this point. It becomes bigger again to it reaches the other side of the case at 22 millimeters. So that was one little remark that I wanted to present to you. Then for the screws, I use this precision screwdriver. The size that I use is CR-V 1.5. So I can really recommend this size for unscrewing these screws. So there we are. I sized the bracelet. I removed 3 of these links, and this was quite easy to do. And this is the result. I think it looks very, very nice. What I did is I removed several links, and what I did is I put the bracelet here in the second position of the micro adjustments on this dive clasp. This allows me to go even 1 notch tighter, which I think I don't need. And it also means when it's going to be very warm or anything else, I can expand the bracelet by going 1 or 2 or 3 or even 4, micro adjust to the right, and expanding the wideness of this bracelet. I found quite a comfortable fit now. Let me show it to you on the wrist. So this is what it looks like. Very nice hardware, very sturdy. I press down the dive clasp, solid snap, and then I close this part. As you can see, I like to wear the bracelet a bit tight. I don't like it flopping around, too loose. But if it's too tight, I can still micro adjust it 1 hole, for example. Now let's present you a close-up. As you can see, the sides of this bracelet, meaning this link and this link, are brushed, and the center 3 pieces are polished, which really plays with this watch, because I think the bezel here, it also has a bit of this polished look. I really like the look of it, and I think this metal bracelet really complements the watch. Again, this is one of the clasps that you can order with this Strapcode bracelet. I really like this pusher. I think these links are wonderful. Really like these end links. Really like the screws. Oh no, I think a great bracelet. Let's compare finally. I think it's even better than the original bracelet. Here we're dealing with this kind of, I think it's almost like a fake link. Let me try to point it out. What I'm trying to say is this part looks actually kind of fake, and here actually there's a real link that connects the hollow end link and the bracelet. And as you can hear, this bracelet is rather flimsy. It is very flexible, as you can see here. It's very, very flexible and very light. I don't like this pressed metal. All parts are a bit flimsy, but I do like it. Again, those hollow end links here connected to the case, so very flimsy. Then we have the strap code. Let me close this up. Very sturdy. As you can hear, this is less flimsy. This is quite sturdy. Let me try and show you the flex. So as you can see, it's more flexible than a solid oyster, but it's not as flexible as the original Jubilee. Really like it. Yeah, so let me know what you think of this metal bracelet. I think it looks, with this 007, I think it looks fantastic. It looks a bit more aggressive again, in my opinion, compared to the original metal strap. I think this is a bit more kind of like subtle, discreet, and I think this bracelet looks very aggressive, and it feels definitely much more premium. I feel like I'm almost wearing a more expensive watch thanks to that bracelet. Really like it. But nothing wrong with the original metal bracelet. So anyway, yeah, I won't advise to go for the rubber strap unless you're going to buy the Strapcode metal strap. In that case, maybe go for the cheapest option you can find on the 007 and buy yourself an aftermarket Strapcode bracelet at Long Island Watches or directly through Strapcode. I really like this bracelet, and I might even buy one for my Seiko Mini Turtle. So let's have one final look. Both bracelets. Again, we have very sturdy and big, chunky, beautiful links. And with the original metal strap, we have thin and small links. But you can't go wrong either way. I'm super happy that I went with this Strapcode Angus Jubilee. I was a bit afraid that this metal bracelet would be too chunky for my wrist, but yeah, I don't mind. I really like the look of it. You really like it. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed my video, then please hit the like button and also check out my Instagram page and my website. If you have any questions, then please hit me up and I will get back in touch with you.